Steve from Custom Table Tennis, and we just realised that we haven't done a video for our best-selling blade, our Allround Plus, and I was going to send this video to somebody yesterday, and I thought, well, I thought I'd done one, but I've not. So this is just to help somebody, and we understand it can be very, very confusing, even when you've been told by your coach that you want an Allround Plus blade, how to choose your rubbers. But before we get onto the rubbers, let's have a look at these. They're 80 plus or minus 3. Sometimes people say, can you find me a really light one, and we can go through them and we can get them a bit under or over. This is the straight handle. I'm going to come back to these different handles in a minute. So 83, so a tad over. 80 plus or minus 3. And then we've got that's within specification, 81.6. That's the beautiful flared. And then we've got the anatomic, which is 81.3, so we don't need the scales anymore. I'll get the vernier gauge out. So let's start with the flared, because people say, which handle should I? If you're new to table tennis and you buy yourself a bat, ordinarily, if you go into a sports shop, which by the way you shouldn't, you should get something like this because they're inexpensive. I mean, these with the flared handle, we're putting out with rubbers on at $34.99, and the blade you can use over and over again. So anyway, this is the blade. The size, I'll just to measure the one because they're all going to be the same. So it's a 150 by 157, which is in line with Stiga, Butterfly and Donic, and usually your standard head size. There might be a slightly different shape, but this is pretty much standard. This is the flared, so let me give you some measurements because people do like to know these things. So on the narrow part we've got 26.67, and then on the widest part we've got 33.92, and then that way the thickness we've got 25.35. This, by the way, is probably the most popular. We would say probably 85% of people will choose this, and then 15% of players will choose the other. Possibly not quite as heavily weighted towards the flared, but that's the flared. So this is the bat that we're talking about today. The anatomic, so it's a classic. So the theory is with the anatomic, and just about pick it out there, you've got this thicker bit here, and then it narrows, and then it tapers out very, very slightly. Very difficult to pick up if you don't know what you're looking for. But the theory is this bit there fits in the hollow of your hand. And it does. It's a little bit thicker there, so your fingers, if you're holding it nice with a nice relaxed grip, that's where your fingers are going to be. So let's have a look at that one then. If you're comparing it with other brands, or you just want to know. Right, so we've got 28.56, and then it goes down a little bit. Well, it hardly does it? Because that's a bit thicker there. And then on that wider bit we've got 32. So it's basically like a snake. It's in and out there. And then finally, pop that out of the way, the straight, which I use a straight. It depends what you get used to. I started off with a flared, then I realised that this suits my style of play better. I mean, some of your top players, Timo Boll, make no big secret about it. Straight, if you've got a nice relaxed grip, your fingers are all around here. Some people say, oh, I don't want straight, it might slip out my hand, but I've seen it happen once or twice. But if you like straight, you like straight. So the measurement there is going to be the same all the way up. So you've got 28 thickness or width, and then you've got the thickness at 24.25. so pull that out of the way, pull the blade out of the way. So this is what we're talking about today. It's our Allround Plus, and that's our bestseller by an absolute mile. Possibly coming up the rear is the premium Hinoki Carbon, but that's our number one. So with the rubber then, and we understand that people get confused, and it's like, which do I choose? If you're starting out, or you're U3A, something like that, or you just basically what you're going to get on the bat, for $34.99. I say $34.99. That was on our last delivery. If prices go up, then the price will go up. So, you know, if you want one at $34.99, get one while they're $34.99. But we put the Gambler 7s on. It's a really good rubber. We find this a little bit more consistent and a little bit less tack than Friendship 729. So it's not a hybrid because it doesn't have the sponge, but don't worry too much about that. I mean, that's a Gambler's own scale. So that's your starting point, and then moving up, well, we'll do it like that, look. So ordinarily when you move up the control, so the speed's a bit more, spin's a bit less, and the controls, well, they're saying that the control is more on this one because it's a little bit less spin, a mechanical spin type of rubber. So that's your couple of starting points, I think, with $39.99 on that one, I think. And then you're moving on to separate reviews. Put that there so I don't forget. Separate reviews of this particular rubber. The reason why it's bendy like that is because it's a tuned rubber. What that means is that it's put on there in a bit of tension, and it's the hybrid world #1. So this is very, very popular. I think, I'm not sure, I should have wrote the prices down. It's either $44.99 or £50 with the hybrid rubber on. And then you're moving up, then you could be on to something like a Hurricane. So we do this bat on a Hurricane? We do, don't we? Yeah, so we do this bat on a Hurricane, and also a Battle 2 that I didn't get out. So Hurricane probably wouldn't be our top recommendation. If you're going to go for Hurricane, we'd probably say go for the Axiom Vega, one of the hybrid rubbers. It just needs a lot of care and attention, and it's marketed really, really well, and we do sell it, but we prefer the German rubbers over the Chinese rubbers. Although the quality is good, you really have to have a good technique, and you have to kind of force your shots a little bit with that one. Another recommendation then, so let's just say that your coach says you're an intermediate and you want an intermediate rubber. We'd either go with the Musa, which is very, very popular, or this one is halfway in between the Musa and the Plastic Ball Ready Europe DF rubber. So this one, you see, it's Lifetime Plus Vega Intro. So it's the intro rubber to the series of Vegas, if you like. It's the slowest one that they do from this series of rubbers, and then they just all go up in different speed densities. I'll let you have a look at that there in the packet. You can pause on that and have a look at it. So it's part tuned, if you like. I wouldn't worry too much about that. I mean, we don't worry too much about that. Ipo Elasto engineered spin. So that's a very, very popular choice, but possibly, well, the most popular choice at my club in Leeds, and I know Pete the coach and Granville, they really, really like this rubber. Usually they'll say to me, are you playing tonight? Yep, bring me a couple of rubbers, will you? And it'll be 99% this rubber, because it's the first one in the series of the Vegas. It's Plastic Ball Ready, Dynamic Friction Tensor BIOS. Obviously it's ITTF approved. Let's have a look at the information on the back. It's a 37.5, so it's fairly soft, so you've got more dwell. Spins very, very well, good for serves, good for blocking. It's a really, really good all-round rubber made in Germany at a good price. If you think of your Donics and your Andros, your T-bars, I mean, they're all good rubbers, but they're probably another £10–15 a sheet more than this rubber. That's number 5 on our list, I think, from number 4 or 5, if you have a look at our best-selling Tensor rubbers. And that's a 37.5. I'm not going through every single Vega rubber, will be here all day. And I know I like myself, I look at reviews of around about 10–15 minutes, and if they get to half an hour, I lose interest. So another Lifetime Plus. So this rubber is going to last you a lot longer than other rubbers of this type. This is the Vega Elite. It's on a 40-degree sponge. Again, Hyperelasto Tensor BIOS rubber. I'll flip over, have a look at the back of that. Very, very popular. This one's on a 40-degree, if I didn't say. So it's about a medium. It's the only one, interestingly, that comes on the cream sponge out of the Tensor rubbers. Very popular. And then, as I say, I'm not going through every single one. I've got this one because this one flies. I've got to order some more. The Vega Career, it's only done in max, but don't worry about that. It's done in max because they tried it in thinner thicknesses and it didn't work particularly well. So it's like, do you know what, we're just going to make it in max, and it's available in the blue. In fact, this is going, it'll be going out, so I don't mind taking it out of the packet. This one be going on the bat today anyway. So that's the sort of blue that you're looking at. So if you've been playing with red for umpteen years and you fancy a change, and a few of our top county players have actually got this rubber. It's on a 45 degree. It's got the IMB internal mechanical boost technology on there as well, and really popular rubber. Very grippy, very spinny. But as I say, it's not available in the red. So if blue's not for you, this rubber's not for you. And then if we move up the series, we've got the Omega 7 Euro. Again, county players have got this. A few of them have got them on the backhand. Lots of league players. You can keep the weight of your bat down with this rubber. It's a 42.5, is it? I think it is. 42.5 on this one. Let's have a look at the back of the packet. Really nice controllable rubber. Plastic ball ready. So it's not a really old generation. It's been around a few years, but it was actually made for the new ball, which incidentally, if you didn't know, doesn't quite spin as much as the old ball. So very popular. We always take this to trade stands. We'll be taking these rubbers on these blades to try at up and coming trade stands. Look out for that video if you want to know where that one is. Hit the like and subscribe as well, and if you've got any comments, put your comments down below and let us know what you think about all this. This is our #1 best-selling rubber, bar none, since it come out. County, I think probably, I would say 90% of the county players have got this rubber. You need good touch and control. I'm not saying that you need to be a county player. If you put it on an all-round blade and you're getting some coaching, or you're not in the bottom division of your league, you will be able to use this rubber. Needs some practice. Got a slightly different throw to some of the other brands, but really popular rubber, this one. Have a look at the back of the packet, the technology. If you didn't know why they're calling it Jekyll and Hyde pin, well, that's a funny name, isn't it? Well, everybody knows the story, and the theory is, if you've got a rubber that's got really high speed and spin, the control usually dips. But on this particular rubber, players tell me, I'm just the messenger, that control is very good on this rubber. So it's a dual 2-in-1 speed and spin with very good control. And then finally, I'll bring in a bat. Buy incidentally with your blades. When you get a blade, it wouldn't matter which one it is, you get a card, tell you the blade, tell you what it is, which it is, it'll tell you what the handle shape is, it'll tell you the blade weight before we make the bat, it'll tell you the bat weight, and then we'll date it. So if you hang on to that card and then somebody tries your bat or you want to replicate it, we're not like blind over the phone trying to work out what you've got. It'll be all on this card. So I'll just finally bring in this bat just to give you an idea. If you order one of these off the internet from us or speak to us on the phone, and what we can do, you get your bat. We've marked this up because we've taken it to a trade stand, so we know what people are trying and they know what people are trying. So what you get, just made this today actually, so that's the weight of the bat. So this is going to be your lightest bat. So we picked a blade that was 80 grams. The overall bat weight is 166, and it's got the Europe DF on, and it's in flared. So there you go, made to perfection. By the way, I'm getting good now. I've got nearly 40 years practice. So there you go. That's what you get there. Beautiful bat, and as I say, you get it with you get the paper protectors, or you can buy. So we've got some sticky protectors, or we've got some basic ones, and we're looking at having our own made as well, so look out for those in the coming months. and they actually will be sticky and will stick to there. So anyway, I'm going to wrap it up now. It's Steve from Custom Table Tennis. Hit the like and subscribe, and if you want more videos, let us know. Bye for now.